So this is a chapter 5.5 video dealing with substitution, but I've chosen a couple problems that are from the 4.10 chapter and section because the book does things in some crazy order sometimes. So they had some questions there that would have certainly been easier to do if we knew how to do substitution. It could be done without it, but typically easier. All right, so let's take a look at number 483 here. So for 483, we want to do the integral of sine squared of x times cosine of x, and then dx. Well, since the sine is in the squared bracket, and we know the derivative of sine is cosine, we have an obvious u here. So we're going to let u equal sine of x, and du is a derivative of that, so du equals cosine of x dx. So now we're going to substitute. So that gives us u squared, and du is this whole thing here. This is du, so this is just du. And this is something very manageable. That gives us u cubed over 3, or 1/3 u cubed, and plus rc. So here we have a pretty complex looking thing in the beginning that is simplified pretty easily with a u substitution. Now we have to put our u back in, and our final answer is 1/3 our sine cubed of x, and then plus our constant c. So that is the answer to 483. So let's do 489 here. So for this one here, we're looking for the integral of 1/2 e to the negative 4x plus sine of x dx. So we'll break it into two. We'll use a substitution for one part of it. So this equals, leave the 1/2 out, e to the negative 4x dx plus integral of sine x dx. So this part here, when we evaluate it, it will be negative cosine. And we'll just leave just a general c there. This part here, I'm going to use a u substitution. So here we know that e to the u, the integral of e to the u is e to the u, and the integral of, or the derivative of e to the u is e to the u, but we don't have u, we have negative 4x. So for this part, we're going to let u equal negative 4x, which makes our du equal to just negative 4 dx. We don't have a negative 4, we have a 1/2, which is set aside anyway, but we have to replace dx, so when we divide by negative 4, we get negative du over 4 equals dx. Okay? So we're going to put our du in for dx and pull out a negative 1/4. So for this part we have 1/2 times negative 1/4 integral of e to the u du. So we have negative 1/8 back with e to the u. And this is just this one part. I'm breaking it into two pieces here. So this is negative 1/8 e to the u plus c. Call this one c1. We'll call this one c2. We'll call it c at the end. Some constant totally. Now we have to replace our e to the u here. Or u, I guess. was negative 4x in the first place. What goes back in there? So our entire answer, our solution, is equal to negative 1/8 e to the negative 4x minus cosine of x, and then just plus some c. C1 and C2 can turn into C. Doesn't matter. Now let's check this one here. Let's do a check. So let's take the derivative of this whole thing. All right, so we have the negative 1/8, and the derivative of e to the negative 4x is just e to the negative 4x times our natural chain rule, which is going to be just negative 4. So that's the derivative of our first part. And then derivative of cosine is negative sine, so negative sine, and the derivative of c is 0. So we can simplify this. We have a negative 4 and a negative 1/8, which gives us positive 1/2 e to the negative 4x plus sine of x, which is what we began with in the first place.